What is up guys, and welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. My name is Moabi, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to download the Windows 11 ISO image and also how to install that Windows 11 ISO image on your Hyper-V virtual machine. So guys, to get things started, let's start by downloading our Windows 11 ISO image. So I'm going to be using Microsoft Edge to download the Windows 11 ISO image. You can use whatever browser that you want, but in this case, I will be using Microsoft Edge. Once your browser loads up, we need to type in download Windows 11 ISO image, then press enter. Locate the official Microsoft website. Once the browser loads up, all you have to do now is scroll down and look for download Windows 11 disk image ISO for x64 devices. Make sure you're downloading the right ISO image for your computer's architecture. In my case, my computer's architecture is x64. So on the drop-down menu, I'm going to select Windows 11 Multi-Edition ISO for x64 devices. Now, if you scroll a little bit down and you click on the before you begin downloading an ISO, this will give you more information about the Windows 11 requirements before installation. You can take your time to read through that, but I am going to take you guys through the steps of installing Windows 11 on your Hyper-V virtual machine. Once you're done, click on Confirm. Now we have to select the product language, so click on the drop-down menu and then select your preferred language. In my case, I'm going to select English International. Then click Confirm. Now we should be able to see the button 64-bit download. Click on that button. And now our ISO image should start downloading. While this is downloading, let's open up our Hyper-V Manager. So I'm going to minimize this window and then click on the Start menu. Then select Server Manager. Now, in your Server Manager, all you have to do is click on Tools, and in your Tools, locate the Hyper-V Manager and then open the application. Once the application is opened up, make sure that you have selected your server, and in your server, you will see all the virtual machines that you have created. If you don't have anything in this page, don't worry, we are about to create our first Windows 11 virtual machine. So to do that, under the Actions tab, all you have to do is click on New, then select Virtual Machine. A new virtual machine wizard opens up. Now in this window, all you have to do is click on Next. In this window, we need to specify the name and location of our virtual machine. So I'm going to name my virtual machine Windows 11 Test PC. After naming my virtual machine, now I'm going to select the location where the virtual machine is going to be stored. So I'm going to click on the checkbox, and then I'm going to leave this location as default because this is where I want all my virtual machines to be stored. Please be careful where you store your virtual machines, as this will affect where your virtual hard disk will be stored. So in my case, I am using this location that you see on the screen. I'm going to click on Browse, and under this location is where all my virtual machines will be stored. So I'm going to leave it as default. In your case, it might be different, so make sure to select the correct location for your virtual machines. I'm going to click on Cancel and then click on Next. In the next window, we have to specify the generation of our virtual machine. So because Secure Boot is required to install Windows 11, we have to select Generation 2 as it supports newer virtualization features, has UEFI-based firmware, and requires a 64-bit guest operating system. These requirements are required for us to install Windows 11. So I'm going to select Generation 2 and then click on Next. Before we move on to the next window, I just want to make a note that once you select your generation, you cannot change the generation from your settings menu in your virtual machine. So make sure to select Generation 2 if you're trying to install Windows 11. Click on Next. In the next window, we have to assign memory for our virtual machine. Windows 11 requires 4 GB memory in order to run. So I'm going to type in 4 GB in megabytes. And after you allocate your memory, make sure that the Use Dynamic Memory for this virtual machine checkbox is off, and then click on Next. Now we have to configure the networking for our virtual machine. I'm going to click on Connections and then select my virtual Ethernet port for my virtual machine. Then I'm going to click on Next. In the next window, we have to connect a virtual hard disk to our virtual machine. Basically, in this window, we have to allocate the storage for our virtual machine, preferably allocate 60 gigs or more for your virtual machine. For this demonstration, I'm going to allocate 120 gigabytes of storage for my virtual machine. Once you allocate your storage, click on Next. In the next window, we are going to select our installation options. If you don't have the Windows 11 ISO image already downloaded, you can leave this option as default, which is Install an operating system later. If your download is complete or you have a Windows 11 ISO image, all you have to do is select the next option, which is Install an operating system from a bootable image, and then click the Browse button. Go to the location where your Windows 11 ISO image was downloaded. In my case, my Windows 11 ISO image is downloaded under the folder Downloads. I'm going to select my Windows 11 ISO image and then click on OK. The last option is when you want to install your Windows 11 operating system from a network-based installation server. So currently, we do not have the server, so I'm going to ignore this option for now and then click on Next. Now, in the last window, you will see a summary of all the options for your virtual machine. If there's something that you want to change, you can use the menu on your left to go to that specific location and change whatever option that you want. If you're happy, click on the button Finish. Alrighty guys, a few things to take note of is that we have downloaded our Windows 11 ISO image, we have created and configured our Windows 11 virtual machine, we have also attached our Windows 11 ISO image to our virtual machine. Now, there is one more thing that we have to do before we install our Windows 11 operating system on our virtual machine. In my Hyper-V Manager, I'm going to select Windows 11 Test PC and then right-click on that virtual machine and then go to Settings. Under Hardware Settings, click on Security. And in the Security window, make sure the Enable Secure Boot checkbox is checked. And also make sure that the Enable Trusted Platform Module checkbox is also checked. The Trusted Platform Module option is a requirement for you to install Windows 11 onto your virtual machine. So make sure that these two checkboxes are checked. Once you're done, click on Apply. Under Hardware Settings, I'm going to select Processor. And in the Processors menu, I'm going to increase the number of virtual processors to 2. This is a requirement for you to install Windows 11. So make sure to change the number of processors from 1 to 2 or more. Then click Apply. Once you have enabled these two options, now you can click on OK. Alrighty guys, now that we have changed those two options for our virtual machine, we should be able to install our Windows 11 operating system on our virtual machine. To do that, right-click on your virtual machine and then click on the button Connect. Click on Start to start your virtual machine, or you can use the button up here. But in my case, I'm going to click on Start. Take note, for any prompts that appear on your screen, I'm going to press any button on my keyboard. Alrighty guys, once your ISO image loads up, now we have to select the language for our installation process and also the time and currency format for our virtual machine. For the language, I'm going to leave it as default as there's only one option. And for the time and currency, I'm going to select English South Africa because that is where my location is. In your case, select your location and then click on Next. In the next window, we have to select keyboard settings for our virtual machine. I'm going to leave my keyboard settings as default. If you prefer a different keyboard or input method, all you have to do is click on the drop-down menu and then select your preferred keyboard. In my case, I'm going to leave it as default and then click on Next. In the next window, select Setup Options. I'm going to leave the Install Windows 11 option selected. We will talk more about Repair My PC in future videos. For now, leave it as default to install Windows 11. Below that, you will see I agree, everything will be deleted, including files, apps, and settings. In our case, we know that there is nothing on our virtual hard disk, so I'm going to check this box and then click on Next. Alrighty guys, in the next window, the product key, now we have to enter our product key for our Windows 11 operating system. In my case, I know that I just downloaded this Windows 11 operating system and I do not have a license currently, so I'm going to select the option I do not have a product key. If you have one, you can enter a product key and then click on Next. If you don't, click on I don't have a product key. Now, in the next window, we have to select an image for our Windows 11 operating system. For this demonstration, I'm going to select Windows Pro and then click on the button Next. In the next window, Applicable Notices and License Terms. You can read through the terms and conditions of using the software. In my case, I'm going to select the button Accept. Now, the final step before we install our Windows 11 operating system, we have to select Location to install Windows 11. In this window, you will see all the hard drives that you have allocated for these virtual machines. In my case, I've only allocated one hard drive for this virtual machine. And now I'm going to select that storage and then click on the button Next. In your case, select your preferred storage and then click on Next to start the process to install Windows 11. In the next window, you will see Ready to Install. Basically, this is the summary of what is going to happen to your PC during the installation process. So I'm going to click on the button Install. And now give my PC a few minutes or so to install the Windows 11 operating system, and I will be back as soon as the installation is complete. Alright guys, once the installation process is complete, you will see your virtual machine's region. In my case, my virtual machine's region is correct. I'm going to leave it as is and then click on Yes. In the next window, I'm also going to leave my keyboard layout as default because this is correct. I'm going to click on the button Yes. If yours has changed or you want to add another layout, you can do so in this window. But for this demonstration, I'm going to leave it as default and then click on the button Skip. In the next window, your computer will start looking for updates. Give it a few minutes to do that, and then we will continue. Once the updates are complete, your PC will restart. Give it a few minutes and then we will continue. Alright guys, once your virtual machine loads up, you will see the window, Let's name your device. You can name your PC whatever you want, but we can do that at the later stage when we are joining our computer to our domain. For this demonstration, I'm going to click on the button Skip for now. In the next window, how would you like to set up this device? We have two options to select from, which is Select for Personal Use or Set up for Work or School. For this demonstration, I want to show you guys how to install your Windows 11 operating system using a local account. If you select the option Set up for Personal Use, you will be required to use a Microsoft account. But if you select the second option, which is Set up for Work or School, this option will skip the Microsoft account requirement option and allow you to create a local user account for your Windows 11 operating system. So I'm going to select the second option, which is Set up for Work or School, and then click on Next. In the next window, let's set things up for your work or school. Instead of using an email address, we are going to select the option Sign in Options. We have two options to select from, which is use your device to sign in with a passkey or domain join instead. I'm going to select the option Domain Join instead. In the next window, who's going to use this device, we are going to give our local account a name. So in my case, I'm going to name this local account test user. And then click on the button Next. For this demonstration, I'm not going to be using a password for my virtual machine. If you want to, you can enter your password here. If you don't want a password for your local account, you can just click on the button Next, and this will not create a password for your local account. In the next window, choose privacy settings for your device. I'm going to leave everything as default and then click on the button Next. Click Next again, and then click Accept. Now in this window, your Windows 11 operating system will go ahead and download all the necessary updates for your Windows 11 operating system, and then afterwards, we will continue. Alrighty guys, now that we have completed our installation process, now we just have to wait for the Windows 11 operating system to create and configure our local account for this virtual machine. Give it a few minutes and then we should be able to interact with our operating system. Alrighty guys, now that our local account has been set up on our Windows 11 operating system, we are now able to use and interact with the system the way we want. To see more information about this computer, let's click on Windows and then select the Settings application. In the Settings application, click on System, and then under System, scroll down and look for About. Click on that, and this will give you more information about your virtual machine's hardware. So guys, that is how we can install Windows 11 on a Hyper-V virtual machine. I hope you liked the video. Make sure to like the video, leave your comments down in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe and share the channel with a friend or two. And as always, I will see you guys on the next video, and remember, each one teach one.